we'll get started. So as we begin, just a couple of things. Please feel free to use the chat feature along the way. Raise your hand and we'll keep an eye on that and answer any questions that you have. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Meg Wager, and I'm the Associate Director for Employer Partnerships and Outreach here in the Career and Professional Development Center. And today we welcome Patricia Wilson, who is Assistant Public Defender at the Albany County Public Defender's Office, who will be talking to you about the summer internship program. She'll provide you with an overview and talk a little bit about the application and interview process. As you know, you've seen that they are actually collecting applications through the Resume Collect program online beginning on January 24th through the 26th. So if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask. And I'm sure this program will help to really get you ready to get your materials together. So Patty, with that, I'll turn things over to you.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me all right? Yeah, cool. So like Meg said, my name is Patty Wilson. I'm an assistant public defender with the Albany County Public Defender's Office. I have been with the office for over 6 years now. And in addition to being an assistant public defender, I'm also one of the co-coordinators of the internship program that we have here at the office. Unfortunately, my co-coordinator actually got called out to court, so she wasn't able to participate today. But I did ask a couple of our public defenders, our younger public defenders, to join us, and I'll let them have an opportunity to speak with you later on. But just to give you guys kind of an overview of the internship with the Public Defender's Office, we represent people who are accused of, well, crimes, specifically people who are indigent and cannot afford an attorney. So even though our focus is obviously criminal defense, so criminal law, our practice does end up kind of bleeding into other areas of the law as well. So we do handle cases that require us to look into immigration law, mental health law, family law, corrections law, and a number of other things. But our internship, the goal of our internship is to give our interns an opportunity to be in court, to speak on the record in front of a judge, to work with clients directly. As indigent criminal defense attorneys, we have a very, very client-oriented practice. So our interns, as well as our attorneys, work very, very closely with our clients. In addition to that, our interns get experience handling plea negotiations with opposing counsel, which is usually the district attorney's office, as well as legal writing. And some of our interns who have been here with us for a while also handle hearings and May 2nd seat trials as well. So a lot of our work is going to be in the court. So if you're looking for court experience, this is definitely an internship that may interest you. That being said, as part of our intern program, we train our interns to appear in court and to do certain things on the record. We also have informational sessions so that they can understand the law that they're dealing with, as well as issues that may arise during their practice. And that generally is kind of, in a nutshell, the Public Defender's Office. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. But actually, before I turn it over to questions, what I want to do is I want to introduce the other two members of the Public Defender's Office that are on. One is Avery Sullivan. Avery was actually one of my first interns. She currently is an assistant public defender in Albany City Court, where she handles, well, quite frankly, all of the diversion courts. And we have Jay Jelani, who is also on, and Jay has been with our office for what seems like forever. And I believe, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but he actually just got sworn in yesterday. So he is no longer an intern with our office. He is now an attorney with our office. So, please feel free to ask questions, whether it's to me, to Avery, or Jay. Hopefully we can make sure you get the answers that you need.
Thank you, Patty. That's great information. So we'll open the floor and we can start a conversation. Anyone have any questions they want to start with?
see, it sounds like Evelyn asked a question about interns. We take anywhere between 8 to 10 interns over the summer. So that's generally the most, and that's so that we can make sure that all of our interns get as much experience and time as we can give them during their internship. And I don't know if Avery or Jay, if you guys want to talk about your experience. Like I said, Jay is a little closer in time to everyone here, but Avery is actually not too far out either.
Yeah, so I think there was a second part to Evelyn's question, just working with one attorney. There are a lot of courts within Albany County, and I believe that Patty will assign you to a certain court depending on your schedule. And there are multiple attorneys that work in each court. So you probably, depending on your schedule, may work with one attorney. But at least for here in Albany City Court, we have like 6 people down here. So you will float around. I will say that I do the diversion courts, as Patty had just mentioned. So if you are interested in that, I handle misdemeanor drug court, mental health court, veteran, it's called Vet Track, but essentially it's court for veterans. And I also will be handling the brand new opioid court. So if you are interested in that, you probably would be assigned to me. So if you have any questions regarding that, I can certainly explain more if you want to.
Yeah, to what Avery said, generally we assign interns to not attorneys, we assign them to courts. And that's so our interns can follow the cases out of that court to give a little more consistency to the work that you're doing. So you may get 1 court, you may get 2 courts, but those are going to be the courts that you're responsible for. And those courts may have 1 or 2 supervising attorneys. Like Avery said, Albany City Court has 6. Some courts have 2, some have 1. But the other thing is, regardless of what court you're in, our office has over 30 attorneys. So all of them are very, very open to working with and speaking to interns and talking about the work that we do. So to that extent, even though you may be working in a court with a certain supervising attorney, the entire office is open to working with interns. And you may find that there's something that you're interested in that another attorney is doing. You could work with that attorney on that particular case. Like Avery said, she handles a lot of the diversion stuff. So if you're interested in diversion, chances are you're going to end up with Avery. We also have a family court satellite office, and we also handle Raise the Age, which is kind of sits the line between criminal and family law. So if that's something you're interested in, then you may end up with an attorney that handles those types of cases. So as far as the internship, we try to make sure that you're doing the kind of work that you want to do in relation, obviously, to indigent criminal defense. But if there's a direction that you want to go or certain things that you want to work on, we do our best to accommodate that. And the other thing is, this is for specifically summer, so most people don't have class schedules. But the internship is year round. So if you are interning with our office in the spring or fall semesters, then your courts will likely be dictated by your schedule because school comes first. But that may affect what court you're in as well, because we want to make sure that you can make all of your classes, but at the same time, feel comfortable with your court schedule. Let's see.
And just to add, some of the courts in Albany County are night courts. So although like Albany City Court is a Monday through Friday, like 8 to 4 kind of deal, some of the town courts and other city courts are random times during the week, and some of them are at night. And if that would fit in your schedule, I'm sure Patty would assign you to those courts.
Let's see, Alexa asked, what are the hour requirements by week? Also, are there set start and finish dates for the internship? So that generally, as far as hour requirements, we usually say, well, for this particular internship, because it's such a hands-on internship, I always tell interns that it is what you make it, so that what you put in is what you're going to get out. Generally, we ask that if, for instance, if you're in a court like Avery's in, where they meet, actually Jay's in that court too. If you're in a court like that meets multiple days a week, that you try to be there at least 2 days. Again, a lot of it is going back to consistency. So usually at least for the 2 days, but again, we are generally very flexible with how we handle schedules. And a lot of it is going to be based off of any school schedules that we're working around as well. As far as start and finish dates, for the most part, it's going to be a week after you finish your semester to a week before you start your new semester, at least for the summer is how that works. But at the same time, if you guys need to end early, or if it's during the semester, we have a lot of interns that actually come back and intern with us for multiple semesters. So in that case, there is no finish date per se. So that's something that we would discuss with you when we speak with you. Jay, did you want to add anything about your experience?
Sure, I can talk a little about my experience. So I started the summer of 2020, which wasn't the greatest time to start, but since then I've been able to get out to almost all of the local courts in Albany County. And during that time, I really realized that, like Patty was saying, everybody in the office is really there to kind of help teach everyone and get people experience. If you're interested in that, it's a lot of just like finding people who specialize in things and being, if you're interested in it, like I really wanted to write motions. And so I was able to find an attorney in the office, Anthony, who had just a lot of motions due. And then they was able to help out, work with us on that. And so I think I followed through every semester and came back to the public defender's office because I was just having too much fun, basically. But you get a lot of hands-on experience. You get to go into the courts, you get to talk to defendants. Like there's few internships, from at least talking to some of my friends about what they did, where you get as much time in the courts as you do with the public defenders. Even the district attorneys, I had some friends who interned there, and like a lot of what they did was just basically focused on discovery and like looking through evidence. Like they get very limited court exposure, at least in the public defender's office. Like if you're down in APC or Albany City Court, like you could be in court every day. You could be in front of a judge every day. It really is what you make out of it. And so if you're willing to put some work in, you can learn a lot. And I love it here, and I learned a lot. So, you know, I can't advocate enough for doing this as your internship.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, so again, a lot of it is going to, I know a lot of questions are about dates and times and what they'll be doing or what an intern will do. And as you've probably at this point seen or heard, I should say, we are very flexible with the type of work that you're going to be doing, as long as it's in the realm of indigent criminal defense. We'll find a way to work with what you're looking for. There are certain people who don't want to be in court all the time, and we do have people who handle appeals, which is really just legal writing for the most part and research. So most of the time when you start, we actually sit down and we'll talk to you about the stuff that you want to do. We talk about what your schedule looks like. So a lot of the time you're pretty much fashioning kind of your own experience.
And Patty, could you tell us a little bit more about what you're looking for in your candidates? What qualifications will catch your attention?
So number one thing is someone who communicates. Communication is probably one of the most important parts of this job. We have cases where you may be in misdemeanor court and you're working with a felony attorney. Jay and I just had a case where he handled a case through its time in misdemeanor court, and then it was waived out, and I have the felony. So he and I had to have discussions about how it was going to be handled at that stage. And he and I have spoken about how he would like to continue working with this particular client in this particular case. So being able to communicate is probably the number one thing that I look at. We look for people who are interested in and enthusiastic about the work. we work with people who are in very difficult situations in their life. So we look for people who are going to be patient, and again, who are going to be passionate about the work that we do, and willing to put the work in. Because we are willing to work with you if you're willing to work with us. So, you know, I don't have any specific qualifications because a lot of the stuff we'll actually train or teach our interns as far as relevant information. But the big thing is, hopefully you're not a jerk. That's kind of the other thing. So communication and just being able to work with other people are probably the main things that I look for as far as interns go. Mostly because, again, you're going to be working with our attorneys, with us, and we're going to be spending a lot of time together. So.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I think, Meg, you wanted me to talk about the applications. I believe that you submit your applications through the portal, and Meg is actually going to be probably better to talk about that than I am. But this semester we have decided that we're going to be doing on-campus interviews. In addition to that, I'm actually also the field placement professor for the criminal defense field placement class. So you may see me on campus anyway. And if you do, you know, by all means, feel free to stop me and speak with me. I would love to answer any questions. But I believe we're doing on-campus interviews this time around.
We're excited to have you. I think the date's to be determined by the end of February.
That is correct. My coworker and I are going to be in a murder trial. So we had to push back the interviews a little bit as it's going to be a long trial. So, but as Meg said, we're working on something before the end of February. So just look out for that if you're interested.
Anyone else?
You don't have to have questions, but if you do, by all means, don't hesitate to ask. We do not bite. So
yes, and I have Patty's email address on file here, and I'm sure and if you have any questions, she'd be more than happy to continue the conversation. I'd be happy to pass that on to you. So just feel free to reach out to me, and I'll connect you to Patty.
Yeah, any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Like I said, we're very open to answering questions, and we definitely want to encourage you, if you're interested in doing this type of work, to reach out, to ask the questions, to apply, whatever it may be. But we understand that, picking especially your summer internship, because it's probably one of the longer ones, that you want to know what you're getting into. So, happy to answer questions, send an email, we can set up a phone conference, we can set up a meeting, whatever it is. We'd love to speak to anyone who has any questions or is interested.
Great. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Patty, Avery, Jay. Thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
And thank everyone for attending. I'll hope to see you all around. All right, everyone, take care.